Hey, Raiders fans. It's that time again where we dive deep into everything happening in the NFL and, of course, all the latest on our beloved Las Vegas Raiders. Football is officially back, and the energy around the league is absolutely electric right now. From blockbuster trades to roster moves, every day seems to bring a new headline that shakes up the league. And let me tell you, this week has been no exception because one of the biggest trades of the year just went down, and it has ripple effects across multiple teams. The Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers have come to terms on a deal that is going to be talked about for a long time. Micah Parsons, one of the premier edge rushers in the NFL at just 26 years old, is now a Packer. In return, Dallas gets 2 first-round picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark. This is not just a standard trade. This is one of those deals that immediately changes the dynamics of the teams involved and the divisions they play in. When you look at Parsons' stats from last season, he recorded 12 sacks and had a massive impact on the Cowboys' defensive front. His contract now puts him in a league of his own, roughly $47 million per year, which is a huge jump from what someone like Max Crosby is getting with the Raiders at $35.5 million per year. Parsons is explosive, fast, and relentless when it comes to getting after the quarterback. But if we're being completely honest, Crosby has a more complete game overall. He might not have the raw sack numbers of Parsons, but his versatility and ability to affect the game in multiple ways make him arguably the more well-rounded player. That said, the trade is fascinating because it offers a huge win for both sides in different ways. Green Bay immediately upgrades its pass rush in a division that is extremely competitive. The Detroit Lions have one of the best rosters in the NFC, and Minnesota won 14 games last season with a promising young quarterback in J.J. McCarthy. By adding a player of Parsons' caliber, the Packers position themselves to compete at the highest level immediately. On the other side, the Cowboys get significant value as well. Kenny Clark is 29, an elite defensive tackle who fills a critical need for Dallas. And the 2 first-round picks in the upcoming drafts give them the flexibility to maneuver, whether it's targeting a high-profile quarterback prospect or adding depth across the roster. Plus, the fact that Green Bay and Dallas face each other on Sunday Night Football in Week 4 adds an extra layer of drama to this story. That matchup is going to be electric, and it could very well serve as a preview of what the NFC might look like at the top if both teams continue to build around their stars. Now, shifting our focus to the Raiders, we've had some interesting developments here as well. The Silver and Black made a waiver claim for Tristan McCullum, who was released by the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a strategic move, as McCullum is a versatile safety who adds depth to the Raiders' secondary. He played over 200 snaps last season, and while his grades may not jump off the page, his size and ability to play deep in coverage give the Raiders another option at a position that has seen some turnover. Claiming McCullum, however, meant the Raiders had to make a roster adjustment, and it turns out Thomas Harper was the player moving out. Harper has been a versatile piece for the team, able to play both nickel and free safety, but with McCullum coming in, the Raiders had to make the tough decision to waive him. This is part of the constant balancing act in the NFL, finding the right mix of talent, versatility, and potential while staying within roster limits. It's also worth noting that McCullum's experience with the Eagles, including being part of a team that went to the Super Bowl, brings a level of professional maturity to the locker room. Even if he's not a star-level player, having someone who understands high-stakes games can be invaluable for a team that is trying to find its identity and build momentum this season. Meanwhile, there's still a lot of rumors swirling around other players, like Hunter Renfrow, who recently became available after being released by the Carolina Panthers. While multiple teams have reportedly expressed interest, it seems unlikely that he will be joining the Raiders. The fit just doesn't align with what the Raiders are trying to accomplish right now, especially considering their recent signing of Amari Cooper, who is expected to be a key contributor this season. Cooper brings big playability, and the team is likely more focused on refining their offensive weapons and solidifying depth rather than adding another wide receiver who doesn't offer much in special teams or blocking. It's a reminder that building a roster in the NFL isn't just about talent. It's about strategy, fit, and finding the right pieces to complement the overall plan. Back to the broader league picture, trades like the Parsons deal highlight just how dynamic the NFL can be. In addition to Green Bay and Dallas, every team is looking for ways to gain an edge, whether it's through trades, draft picks, or shrewd signings. The way teams evaluate talent and value is constantly evolving. For example, contracts like Parsons and Crosby's show just how much the market has shifted for elite edge rushers. Teams are willing to invest heavily in players who can disrupt the quarterback and change the course of a game with their presence alone. And as the season approaches, these roster moves become even more critical. Every decision made in the offseason, every waiver claim, and every draft pick can have a major impact on how the season unfolds. For the Raiders, the early moves of claiming McCollum and adjusting the roster by waiving Harper signal a focus on building depth and flexibility. These are the kinds of decisions that may not make headlines like a blockbuster trade, but they are just as important for the team's long-term success. Depth in the secondary, versatility in defensive personnel, and careful management of the roster are all elements that can make the difference between a playoff run and falling short. And let's not forget the Raiders' offense. With key players like Amari Cooper now in place, the team is looking to create a more dynamic and balanced attack. Cooper's ability to stretch the field opens opportunities for other receivers and tight ends, while also giving the running game room to operate. It's all part of a bigger strategy to ensure the Raiders can compete in a tough AFC West division, which is stacked with talent across all teams. And of course, the broader NFL picture remains dynamic. Teams are constantly evaluating talent, tracking free agents, and planning drafts to improve their rosters. Trades like Parsons highlight how aggressive teams can be in pursuing immediate impact players, while moves like the Raiders demonstrate the importance of strategy, depth, and balance. It's this combination of big news and detailed planning that makes following the league so compelling. So, as the season kicks off, Raiders fans have a lot to be excited about. From tracking key league trades to understanding how the team is shaping its roster for success, there's never a dull moment. Every day brings new developments, and the team is actively positioning itself to be competitive, resilient, and ready to capitalize on opportunities as they arise. All right, Raiders fans, let's keep this rolling because there is no shortage of news, rumors, and roster developments in the NFL, and the Las Vegas Raiders are right in the thick of it. One of the things that always gets me excited about this time of year is how dynamic things can be across the league, and how even seemingly small moves can have major ripple effects. Take, for example, the waiver wire and free agent activity. Teams like the Raiders are constantly evaluating players who can fill specific roles, add depth, or bring unique skill sets that complement the current roster. The claim of Tristan McCullum is a perfect example. On paper, he's a solid safety who may not wow you with flashy statistics, but in practice, his presence gives the Raiders flexibility in the secondary. He can play deep coverage, he can step up when needed in run support, and his size allows him to match up with bigger receivers or tight ends. These are subtle changes that don't always make headlines, but they matter when the season is on the line and every snap counts. Meanwhile, the Raiders have been managing the roster carefully, balancing the need for depth with the limitations of the roster size. Waiving Thomas Harper was not an easy decision, as he offered versatility that could have been valuable in different defensive packages. However, the team clearly believes that McCullum's skill set is better suited for the immediate needs of the squad. Harper's departure might also signal how the coaching staff plans to utilize other defensive pieces in nickel, dime, and base packages. This kind of strategic maneuvering is a key part of building a competitive roster, and it's one of those elements of the NFL that fans sometimes overlook when focusing only on star players or big-name acquisitions. Speaking of star players, let's circle back to the broader NFL landscape, because the Micah Parsons trade continues to reverberate. It's easy to look at the numbers and contracts and get lost in the financial aspect, but the real story is how this move changes the balance of power. Green Bay now has a legitimate edge rusher who can make a huge impact against top-tier quarterbacks. When you consider the division they play in, every game suddenly has higher stakes. The Lions are stacked with talent. Minnesota is a force to be reckoned with, and even the Chicago Bears have made moves to bolster their roster. Parsons changes the dynamics of those matchups entirely. For Dallas, receiving 2 first-round picks and a defensive tackle like Kenny Clark is a smart move that gives them flexibility in the draft and a chance to address long-term roster needs while still maintaining immediate competitiveness. It's a trade that, on the surface, might seem lopsided because of Parsons' star power, but when you dig deeper, it's actually a calculated move that benefits both teams in different ways. Now, bringing it back to the Raiders, there's also ongoing conversation about Hunter Renfrow. While he's drawing interest from multiple teams, it looks increasingly unlikely that he will join the Silver and Black. The Raiders have already invested in Amari Cooper, who is expected to be a major offensive weapon this season. Cooper's role as a high-impact receiver shifts the focus for the team, and bringing in a player like Renfrow, who doesn't necessarily offer blocking, physicality, or special teams contributions, wouldn't align with the current strategy. It's a reminder that building a roster isn't just about collecting talent. It's about fit, scheme, and maximizing every piece of the puzzle. The Raiders have to make calculated decisions to ensure that every signing and claim pushes them closer to being a cohesive, competitive unit rather than just adding bodies. Depth and versatility are central to this strategy. Players like McCollum, while not marquee names, allow the team to adjust to injuries, adapt to opponents, and maintain a high level of performance across the season. And with Harper no longer on the roster, the coaching staff has to rethink how they deploy defensive personnel, which creates opportunities for other players to step up. Every roster change, waiver claim, or practice squad promotion sends a message about the team's priorities and how they envision the season unfolding. Meanwhile, the NFL as a whole is entering a stage where every decision matters even more. Trades like Parsons and roster moves like McCollum's highlight the constant balancing act between immediate competitiveness and long-term planning. Teams have to weigh contracts, cap space, and draft capital against the urgency of winning now. For example, Parsons' contract and skill level make him an immediate impact player, but also sets the market for other elite edge rushers, influencing how teams approach free agency and trades in the future. Similarly, Max Crosby's role with the Raiders demonstrates how a team can secure top-level talent while maintaining flexibility to build around other key pieces. It's an intricate dance, and the teams that execute it well are often the ones that make deep playoff runs. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Tristan Wirfs' decision to potentially join the Las Vegas Raiders has sent shockwaves through the NFL community, igniting a flurry of speculation, rumors, and fervent debate among analysts, fans, and insiders alike. According to sources close to the player, Wirfs, known for his explosive performance on the offensive line and his relentless drive to dominate opponents, has given a verbal nod to the Raiders, signaling what could be one of the most talked-about acquisitions of the season. While the NFL has seen numerous trades and player shifts over the years, few have generated this level of immediate buzz, partly because Wirfs' skill set is widely regarded as elite, partly because the Raiders have long been seen as a team willing to make bold, headline-grabbing moves. From social media platforms to sports talk shows, commentators are dissecting every potential implication of this rumor, weighing the impact on both the Raiders' offensive strategy and the broader AFC West dynamics. Fans are already speculating on how Wirfs' presence might transform the line, whether it could secure critical protections for the quarterback, and how it might shift the balance of power in a division that has grown increasingly competitive. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation, and every mention of Wirfs in connection to Las Vegas seems to amplify the sense of urgency and excitement surrounding this potential signing. Analysts are particularly intrigued by the strategic implications of Tristan Wirfs joining the Raiders, considering the team's current roster composition and offensive philosophy. The Raiders have struggled at times with consistency in pass protection and run-blocking schemes, and Wirfs' arrival could theoretically address those deficiencies with immediate effect. Evaluating his previous performances, experts note that Wirfs' combination of size, agility, and technical skill makes him one of the most formidable offensive linemen in the league, capable of neutralizing some of the NFL's most aggressive defensive fronts. The rumor mill suggests that coaches and team executives have been working behind the scenes to entice Wirfs, leveraging not only financial incentives, but also the promise of a pivotal role in reshaping the Raiders' offensive identity. This potential acquisition is also causing rival teams to reassess their own strategies, as securing a linchpin like Wirfs could dramatically tilt matchups in Las Vegas' favor. The media has picked up on subtle cues in press conferences, cryptic social media posts, and insider hints that only fuel further speculation, making it difficult to separate fact from conjecture. As the story unfolds, the NFL world is caught in a tense limbo, eagerly anticipating the formal confirmation that could either solidify or upend ongoing discussions about team power dynamics and roster construction. The fan reaction to Tristan Wirfs' rumored commitment to the Raiders has been nothing short of extraordinary, reflecting the deep emotional investment that supporters place in the movement of elite players within the league. Across online forums, social media feeds, and fan-run podcasts, enthusiasts dissect every possible angle, from Wirfs' potential starting position to the long-term implications for rookie development and team chemistry. Memes, graphics, and speculative breakdowns proliferate as fans attempt to visualize how the Raiders' offense might look with Wirfs anchoring the line, creating an almost cinematic narrative that blurs the line between fantasy and reality. Moreover, merchandise speculation has begun to surface, with some suggesting that Wirfs jerseys could become instant bestsellers should the deal materialize, reflecting the commercial dimension of player rumors in the modern NFL. Betting markets are also reacting, with sportsbooks reportedly adjusting odds on Raiders' season performance in response to the mere possibility of acquiring a player of Wirfs' caliber. This fan-driven fervor is amplified by media outlets eager to capture attention, resulting in a feedback loop where every new tidbit, no matter how small, is amplified exponentially. The atmosphere is charged with a blend of hope, anxiety, and anticipation as supporters debate whether this potential move signals a new era of competitiveness for Las Vegas or merely another tantalizing rumor destined to keep the offseason buzzing. From a broader league perspective, the possibility of Tristan Wirfs joining the Raiders carries implications that extend far beyond team-specific strategies, touching on player movement trends, salary cap maneuvering, and the overall balance of power within the NFL. Teams across both conferences are closely monitoring developments, calculating how such a high-profile addition could trigger a cascade of counter-moves, trades, or free agent signings aimed at neutralizing the competitive advantage. Analysts speculate that Wirfs' potential commitment could influence draft strategies as well, with teams potentially adjusting selections to fill gaps exposed by the Raiders' strengthened defensive line. Historical parallels are being drawn, as insiders reference previous blockbuster acquisitions that altered league narratives, drawing comparisons to the ripple effects Wirfs' signing could engender. Discussions extend to coaching strategies, with some suggesting that offensive coordinators may now have greater flexibility to implement complex schemes if Wirfs is indeed secured, while opposing defenses may need to rethink approach angles and pressure tactics. Even media narratives contribute to the pressure cooker environment, with articles, talk shows, and online debates scrutinizing every hypothetical scenario, creating a sense of urgency and immediacy that fuels the rumor further. In this context, the potential impact of Wirfs' decision transcends any single team, symbolizing how a single player's movement can reverberate through an entire professional sports ecosystem, generating intrigue and anticipation that permeates every corner of the league. Despite the absence of official confirmation, whispers about Tristan Wirfs' impending move to the Raiders continue to dominate headlines. Interviews and informal conversations within NFL circles, demonstrating the magnetic effect of high-profile rumors on sports culture. Journalists, insiders, and commentators dissect subtle signals, from cryptic social media activity to unexpected travel sightings, each interpreted as potential proof of the deal's progression. Team executives, for their part, maintain a carefully curated public stance, neither confirming nor denying the reports, which only serves to heighten speculation and maintain a sense of narrative suspense. The story has also catalyzed debates about player loyalty, market appeal, and strategic fit, with some questioning whether Wirfs' skills align seamlessly with Las Vegas' long-term vision or whether the move is more about headline value than tactical necessity. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.